Hey guys, it's TF Nut. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing another action figure review. This time it's going to be of the brand new Bandai Tamashii Nations SH Figuarts Chainsaw Man Makima figure. It's been a while since I've reviewed anything Chainsaw Man related. It's been a while since I reviewed really anything. I've been really behind on reviews. But I do have Genki here. I haven't reviewed this yet. I think I'm going to wait till August when I usually do Anime Week, but I got this only a couple months after release, so it wasn't super recent. This here, though, it just came out. Very excited to have this. We don't have really any more information of what else we're going to get in this line. I'm sure once the anime picks back up eventually, as well as I think when the Bomb Devil movie comes out, we might have some new stuff coming out. But until then, this is the last thing we've had announced and released for the line. So let's just go ahead and take a look at the packaging here. It might be a little bit dark, but we do have Bandai Namco quality sticker right there as well. The figure in the box with all the accessories, as well as Makima, the name on the left. Image of her on the right, looking pretty cool. And then we do also have the SH Figuarts logo right there, as well as Bandai Tamashii Nations. This is made in China. So we take a look on the side. There's not much here. It just says Makima, as well as the SH Figuarts logo again. This is a read-up of what SH Figuarts is, but it's on every box, so it's not just unique to this box. Some color splatter throughout the whole box, looking really cool. Right here, we do have SH Figuarts and then Makima right there. In that, yeah, if you know, you know with that pose. And then we do have Makima right there. So looking on the bottom, this is just some, you know, support image stuff, or support site stuff, I should say. And then right here, we do have, again, another image of her with those soft goods. And then SH Figuarts Makima. Really cool photography here. They have a really nice backdrop with her in one of these shots. Then you have some other accessories going on here as well. SH Figuarts Makima. And then all the way down here, it also says Simple Style Heroic Action. Ages 15 up, at a barcode, you know, just in case you need it. But you're really going to be only finding this online, really. I don't know if I mentioned this, but the top also here says Makima too. Let's go ahead and take a look at the figure out of the box. Here is the figure out of the packaging. This is pretty nice. I haven't messed around with it too much as of recording this section here. I still need to mess around with the accessories, which we'll take a look at in a second. But the joints are a little loose here, so that might cause some problems. But I don't have major issues yet. Let's go ahead and take a look at the accessories, then we'll take a closer look at the figure. So I want to go over the hands first, because everything is done in a very similar fashion. At least, you know, their hands, there's not much to them when it comes to detailing. My lights are kind of making this a little bit hard to see, but every set of hands that you can see the fingernails, they're not super prominent, but you know, you look hard enough and you can see fingernails in there. These are the hands that are molded together when she does, you know, signature poses where she needs to, like, you know, do this. You guys know what I'm trying to say. Yeah, again, molded together, very nice. They've been doing molded together hands for a while, and yeah, they've been doing it pretty well, so there's not much else to talk about there. I want to talk about some more unique hands, because we have one hand here that is it's slightly expressive. The fingers are a little bit separated, and then we have one that's cupped here. I believe this is for when she is supposed to be, you know, like crouching down as she places her hands on her knees. That's based on the images I saw in the box. That is what I gather there. So that's interesting for that. We have two types of these flat expressive hands for when I don't know if these are the exact ones where she's doing, you know, you know, when she's like crushing people, basically. A slight spoiler there. But you know, this here, yeah, these look pretty good, but they are identical. There's not much going on here in terms of the palms. They're all just molded in this skin tone right here. I've also forgot to mention, we do have this lollipop hand here. I feel like the white is bleeding onto the hand a little too much. You know, in some photos, based on the angle you're going to be showing this, it's not going to matter. But looking down here, you can definitely see that. But there's brown in there and then white. Then the way that this hand is gripping that is nicely molded. And then we have these type of expressive hands as well. Again, I mean, we have two different types, and I can easily get these confused with the other ones I just showed off. And I think these are the ones that are meant for doing that flat hand thing that she usually does. These things intersect pretty easily, so that's probably what those for. So I mean, these are also probably for that. But yeah, I mean, again, these look pretty good. Is that excess plastic? Yeah, yeah, that came off pretty easily though. And then we have these more relaxed hands here. You know, just standard relaxed hands. There's not much to really go over with these. Last but not least, the good old finger gun hands. As you see here, it looks like there's a little bit of like a seam line right there on the thumb of the left one. But these are molded, again, really nicely. Their hands, there's not much problems to them. There's not much going into them, when it comes to detailing, but I don't see really any QC problems with the hands. So we also have some face plates. We have this winking expression here looking pretty good. I think all of these look like Makima, of course. Now, I will go ahead and mention this, even though I would usually save this for detail portion. I mean, this looks like Makima. There might be something slightly off with this expression or something going on with the head. I haven't replaced the face plates with the head yet. But, I mean, it looks like Makima. If it's any type of off, then it's just ever so slightly and not enough for me to really complain about. Again, nice wink. The coloring in the eye there, that printing is really clean. And then you do have the eyebrows, the open mouth there, red right there for the sideburns. They're kind of pinkish red. And then we'll talk about all that detailing with the hair in a little bit. She's looking down here with a slightly surprised expression, I guess. I'm not entirely sure. Down to the left. And then you do have slightly open mouth. Again, nice paint on the eyes and eyebrows, and then some paint right there. There might be a tiny bit of a splotch I'm looking at right now, but that's probably going to get covered up by her bangs, or like her side bangs or whatever those are. This is a more smiling expression where she's looking down, probably when she's doing her kneeling down poses. So that's also pretty cool. Again, there's not much to talk about. All the eyes and expressions are done pretty similarly because she has the exact same type of eyes throughout all of them. If I can get a little closer, and then maybe this is focused as I can get close up, you can see how all those circles in her eyes are done, and it's pretty sick. Last but not least, we have this opening mouth expression where it's kind of like a smile, but it's probably more of her talking. All of these she really doesn't express that much, so all of these do look pretty similar, but that is kind of the point here. But these actually give you a better idea of how these these pupils look actually, so that's pretty sick. Okay, now to the big stuff with this. There's two really cool things with this figure. One, we have a soft goods a soft goods coat here, and they've been doing a decent amount of soft goods lately with different figures. We're going to get some with Itachi soon, and some other stuff that has happened recently, and is going to be coming out with some soft goods. This thing here is just black fabric, but we do have a bendy wire here towards the bottom, and then up here all around the collar, stopping. It goes all the way around here, around the back too. All the tailoring, I think, is done pretty well. This is a black piece of, fabric, so I think that there's going to be some lints coming around every once in a while. But we have nice seam lines that look really clean. There's not much, there's a little bit of excess fabric right here. I can trim that off carefully later. You can sort of push the collar up here. I don't know if this is going to stay in position over time. Probably not. But everything looks nice. I think the sleeves are done really well. A little bit of excess fabric right there. I'll go ahead and show you guys an image of what she looks like with the coat on, and it actually fits on really nice. I will say that the cuffs of the sleeves, that they want to go past the wrists a little bit, so it kind of wants to cover her hands. But I mean, this fits on really nicely. One thing I will mention though is that you probably don't want to keep this on forever. Unless you just really, really like this look. The thing is that the black fabric might scuff the paint. I've had that happen with other figures that have fabric before, where that color of the fabric is different from the hard plastic, and it will just scuff it forever. So that's something to keep in mind. Last but certainly not least, we have these alternate leg accessories for the kneeling down section, or the posing, I should say. This section right here, that's what I was trying to say. We do have a little bit of like a swivel in here. So these do articulate around the hip section, and the detailing on like the wrinkles and like the pants, that seam line, and the shoes too, like the glossy brown and the bottom of the feet there's not much going on. But all that looks really nice, and it fits in a certain form, so you don't have to like bend the plastic on her to do this pose. They wanted you to be able to do this pose seamlessly, so they just gave you these. So that's cool that they've been doing soft plastic, and then stuff like similar to your Forger, where it's like a pre-posed leg thing. They've been doing this too with this figure. So I do want to go ahead and pull this on really quick. We've been going on a little too long. So it fits on there really nicely. And I'll show off photos later of her doing the posing. But if you want to articulate this, that gap is really gonna, get in the way. So you really can only stick to this type of posing for that. Another long accessory portion, my apologies, but I don't actually plan on going too crazy long here to detail because her design is rather basic. It's a lady in a suit. Not that that's a bad thing. That's just how the design is. One thing they do want to first talk about is the faceplate she comes with. You know what? In the beginning, I said this kind of looks a little off for Makima, but this, the more I've been looking at it, this does very much look like her. The hair definitely helps with that. And then looking at how her eyes look with the pupils there and the swirls going on in there. No, it's not really swirls. Lots of circles in there. A lot of you are familiar with how Makima's eyes are done. And they look really good for how small these details have to be. But they get them pretty well. And again, nice lip color here. We also have the eyebrows. And then we do have these dude, I'm sorry, I don't know much about hairstyles, but these side pieces right here, they are a softer plastic. It does feel like they may, if you push it too hard, it could come off a bit. This seems rather loose, so keep that in mind, at least on mine at least. There's a little bit of darker pinkish red here going into this brighter pinkish red. I'm not entirely sure if it's pink or red based on art I've seen, but it's definitely kind of like a strawberry color here. And again, around here where the braid gets done, you have a little bit of variation there, so it's a little bit darker around here. Little black tie right there. The black does bleed onto the hair that you see there. It's not super noticeable. And then popping this off, you do see the sideburn pieces right there that are sculpted into that faceplate. So you actually get a little bit of a dip here that shows that off. That's actually pretty cool. Normally that just gets covered up depending on how long some characters' hairs are, or they're not there to begin with. Ears look pretty good. There's not much else to talk about there. Pretty decent wrinkles going on around the waist section where the shirt meets the pants. And they did, bring up the pants, at least in this soft plastic sculpted piece, so that, it looks like it's continued. It does it's a little apparent that it is pretty separated, especially the slight variation of color. This is in a molded darker, almost black, definitely a very dark gray. But here, because of the white paint that this is molded in, I'm pretty sure it's molded in, when they paint this on, it comes through brighter. So that's just going to happen, unfortunately, but that is something to mention. We do have this soft plastic tie. It's not removable, but that's also nice. And we do have buttons going all the way up through the chest. The collar there looks pretty good. Now we do have these cuts here. Some of the other Chainsaw Man action figures we have, they do also have some cuts in order to, in some of these parts, in order to allow for more range of motion. It gets a little distracting. There's definitely gappage right there. You see some gappage in the inner workings for the articulation, but that's just kind of how it goes with the engineering there. And then they did cut this whole back piece. Is it cut? Yeah, so I'm pretty sure, that's a whole piece is separated. You have this harder. This is harder. I think everything is a softer plastic, but I think this is a little bit of a harder plastic right here. So it kind of makes it consistent, but when you have this large divot going on in here, it is going to be distracting when you look hard enough. We have this nice seam line, not seam line, but wrinkle line for the shirt that's supposed to be there, looking actually pretty nice. Some wrinkles all around, and again some gappage going on there. Now looking at the sleeves, both arms are done very nicely. Nice wrinkles. That button right there actually too. And then I don't know all of the stuff going on a business shirt, but then the back of the business shirt looking really nice. I do think that the elbow pieces here are a little too circular. Kind of breaks up the immersion a little bit. It's not too bad. And then we do have how these fists look. Kind of fists because the index finger and thumb are in a certain way. But yeah, I mean, that's fine. Then you get down to, the bottom, the lower torso. Back pockets here are pretty high up. I don't know if that's accurate, but that's interesting. And then we have, lots of wrinkles around here. And what else? A seam line going all the way down, straight down here. It breaks up when you move this, of course. And when you move this does break up, again, the sculpting going on there. That's a little unfortunate. That too. That's an action figure. That's how it's going to be. So that's not really that big of a gripe with me, of course. Again, seam line going all the way down the leg, which is really nicely done. So there's like an indent here, or is this protruding? Can't tell exactly. This is going to feel like an indent. And then this is also an indent. This feels like, no, that's an indent too. I think it just kind of looks like parts are protruding. Anyway, wrinkles around the inner thigh section. Pretty nice, sleek, matte finish that they have. I think the light hits it to where it kind of looks like there's highlights. So I think it's still just one tone, but the light hits it and it kind of looks like different colors, which is a little nice. These back knee pieces again are a little too circular, but they're not too distracting. Down here on the calf section, nice wrinkles going on. Wrinkles around the cuffs that look pretty good, and then you do have the top of the shoes here with some really nice laces, similar to those feet or the legs I was talking about earlier. These here have really nice glossy brown paint, and then you do have the bottom here, which there's actually not printing on the bottom of the feet like here. So I was wondering where the printing, like the copyright printing, is on here, and I actually don't see any of that. So that's not too bad on that. Yeah, nothing too groundbreaking, but I mean, of all things, it looks like Makima. So we don't have groundbreaking articulation, and we do have a little bit of some looseness going on, not too bad, but she's not going to be doing the craziest of poses, so I don't exactly mind. We have a ball peg system here, a dumbbell joint that goes straight up into the head and then, down into the neck, and then a separate neck piece. So you get this tilt here, side to side, and then this actually has a ball joint here that can do this and go up and down. This could be a little fragile, so be careful with that. But, all of this range of motion, so up could be a little bit better, not too bad. Down's really good, though. So, again, swivel, no problem. Then we do have this separate plastic piece here when you have the, the ball joint, the disc moving. So you can push that out pretty far, actually, but things start to get out like that. And then push that back like so, in and out like this. So, the range of motion is good. It's just, it breaks up the sculpt. But it does feel a little loose in these shoulder sockets. Upper arm swivel right here. And you do have a single joint elbow that only bends a little over 90. It can swivel here, though. Swivel here as well, so that's kind of sick. And then we do have the standard wrist system going on here, up and down and in and out. We do have a ball joint waist. There should be a hinge hidden in here, too, with this soft plastic shirt piece. But you can really only go forward because of how the cut is done. Pushing it back is not that easy. And then we do have ball joint right here, so swiveling right here, side to side and all that. So I don't really feel a drop down system here, but you can kick out that far. This is a soft plastic piece too. You kick that back, and then so that will pop off rather easily, not too loose. Yeah, so it doesn't seem like you can actually get that good of a kick out because this does want to separate here. So that is interesting. I could pop that back on. Yeah, that just keeps popping out when I try to separate that. Anyway, single joint knee, swivels here a little bit, not too much. Swivel here at the ankle, down and up. Ankle rocker right here, toe hinge. As you can see, she's a pretty skinny character, so she fits in scale here pretty well. I don't have to move things around like I had to do with Carnage last week. That was kind of insane. But as you see here, it's a little under 14 centimeters, so that will put this a little under 5.5 inches. Size comparison-wise, you can see both Chainsaw Man figures from last year, being Chainsaw Man and Power. They are going to be a slightly bit taller than her, which I believe is accurate. Far left, standard size Marvel Legends Spider-Man. Far right, standard size Black Series Mando. They're both going to be taller. Overall, I do think that this is a pretty decent figure. I don't think it's very groundbreaking, unfortunately. That's just kind of how the character is, if you ask me. She's not going to need to do a lot of stuff like what you would need with Chainsaw Man or Power. So they compensated with that by giving her like tons of hands, different faces. It's cool that they gave her the crouching leg accessories, as well as a soft goods coat with a bendy wire. That is actually really sick. But in terms of articulation, there's not much going on there. She doesn't really need to do that much, but I do think it's kind of insane that she can't even do like a basic like leg split pose. That's kind of, I'm just used to most action figures doing that, but it's okay for this figure, I guess. There's very little in terms of QC problems. I think they've gotten a little bit better about that as the year has gone on, which is a good thing because it was getting pretty bad at one point. I also think that what we do have in terms of sculpting and paint on here is really nice, especially like the eyes and the face and all that is really cool. Is this $78 worth cool? I don't think so exactly. I would maybe wait if this goes on sale, or if you have like a private warehouse option wherever you're buying this from, wait for other stuff to come in stock and then add this to that if you want to save some money on shipping. That's probably what I would recommend. I'll leave links in the description below if it's still available places. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Comment down below what you think about the figure, what you think about the review. Leave a like, share amongst your friends. Follow me on Instagram for more content over there, and I'll see you guys later.